Let's get into our first topic here on the annual podcast. R2D2 back on the air with the Idey. This has been a story that has been marinating on my docket for about a month now. It is a story of stolen humor. There's stolen valor. There's stolen valor. People pretending to be a soldier. Now we have stolen humor. We have allegedly someone being accused of stealing someone else's bit and then going to do that bit on a very popular talk show right now, the number one talk show, I would say, on Instagram, which is Subway Takes. Maybe you know about it, Chris? You come across it?
No, man, I stay
wild
away,
that
man.
you haven't seen it
I don't
yet.
want to steal jokes.
Good for you. Don't watch any comedy. That's the key.
But you know what? This is a good one to cover, and I'm glad that we're covering it because, we remember the classic Mencia thing with Rogan and all this, right?
Yes.
But I also think that with a lot of things that are funny, there's also a commonality that's found because we're all human. Look, like you're on this planet and you're processing things relatively the same way as everyone. You have eyes, ears, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I do think, if it's so freaking like oh, Jesus Christ, guy, but I do think that you can have I wonder, out of all the stuff that I've written, I look at it and I go, someone had to have I'm not that smart. I try to pick really weird, random things from far off to not, my first thing is to not try to I try to stay away from feeding off of the center impulse. Okay, what would be the easiest? No, okay, what would be the next? No, and then get to the fourth or fifth thing where you really got to look at it for a minute and be like, oh shit, that's where I'm trying to land. But I also look at everything and go, someone else had to have done these.
Yeah, well, I think that's where being a good writer comes in, having a unique voice, so you don't have to worry about plagiarism or people just coming up with the same things that you are coming up with. Which, when that happens, back in the day when, let's say, you saw a certain trope being stumbled upon by many different comics in a very typical way, that's what we called hack.
Yeah.
There is a word for it. It's hack. Yeah, they all came up with it individually. That's putting it the best way. They weren't stealing from each other. And they're all just bad, unoriginal writers, and they all said the same thing. It happens all the time. And there's no policing of it. It used to be somewhat policed in stand-up comedy world. People, peers maybe telling you, hey, someone's doing your bit, man, that you've been doing for years, and now they're doing it. Or they're just totally stealing your vibe or your thing. But, who's going to do that with Instagram? It's such a vast ecosystem that you could be on one side of it stealing someone else's stuff and they'll never hear it.
And back then, if you knew someone or were connected to that person fairly, whether you lived in the same market, if you will, or whatever, that would get suspect, rather than someone coming up to you and saying, oh my God, man, this guy's doing your joke. And you're like, well, who is it? And they're like, Izakawa Yamaguchi. And you're like, where's he from? Japan. It's like, well, he didn't steal my joke. He's from Japan. You know what I mean?
He could have
stolen. So now it's now you're able. That's why I try to stay away from comedy influence. I think it seeps in there. There's been plenty of trust me. There's been plenty of times that I did a bit, and then I'm going, man, that was oh shit, and I go back and delete it. I go, no, that was an offshoot.
It's a fine line between lifting off of somebody and being inspired by somebody, because art can be inspired. Are we going to try and vet for inspiration and not take that out? How the hell are you going to do that?
Hell no. Look at you couldn't. Just in music. Look at how many guys said, I copied this guy and this guy. Stevie Ray Vaughan copied Albert King and freaking Muddy Waters and all these blues guys. And he's his own cat. You know what I mean? He took it all and produced his own thing. Maybe that's the difference. Is if you take those, you're able to take it. Maybe you blatantly take something a joke from somebody here and a joke from somebody here, and then you put it together to create something funny that neither of them did. Maybe that's where you end up being, and then you can become a legend that way. It works in music. I don't know if it would work in comedy. You know,
I think,
but
yeah.
don't people borrow from like the legends, Carlin, Kinnison, Hicks? You know what I mean? Like all those guys. Yeah, hell yeah.
There's tons of inspiration going on everywhere. I mean, The Office, the show The Office, has its influence everywhere, like the way the cutaways, the confession to the camera thing. So, you know, so that's why when an accusation of comedy thievery comes out, it's got to be pretty serious. It's got to be beating a certain threshold where like you're willing to stake your reputation on it now, saying, "Hey, listen, I'm pretty sure this got lifted from me." And this is a case where in New York City, Kyle Ayers, the accuser, I'll just pull up a still of him here. He has been doing comedy in New York City for a long time, maybe since like 2010 or something. And I presume did this bit in question in front of many crowds for free, many free shows, free or paid, doesn't really matter, but many times.
Sure.
And liberally, even at open mics, you know, you're practicing jokes, you're refining material at open mics. And now we have the accused, this comic here on the right. And, you know, if the lifting is true, if the accusation is true, then this person could have just heard it a billion times and just fucking said, all right, well, you're moving out of New York City. Your jokes are mine now. Like, and that could have been what happened.
Well, let's hear the first and then her version.
Yeah, I think the best way to do it is to play the rendition done on the popular show, and then we'll go back to the allegations.
So what's your take?
The United States should bring back the conscription, but for restaurant jobs.
100% agree.
We reinstate the draft, and every single citizen from 16 to 20 has to work in a mandatory service industry job. And this would make you a more functional member of society. You would have correct morals. You'd have good worker politics. It's so much better. I mean, Pedro, okay, you're like 16 years old. You get drafted as a dishwasher at Olive Garden. You learn about empathy. You learn about work ethic. Your best friend is a 68-year-old waitress whose name is Deborah, and she's a grandmother. She works by day as a guidance counselor. She teaches you about the importance of intergenerational friendship, and also she teaches you like light tax fraud. And then you move up, you're like 18, you're working as a barback at a beloved local eatery, and you learn how to properly pour a Guinness, and you fall madly in love with like a manic pixie dream girl hostess who has bipolar. And then for the next, like, for every 3 years for the rest of your life, you meet up with her to make out.
When I was 14, I worked at McDonald's.
Okay.
It was a very formative experience.
Exactly.
I worked there for 2 years.
Exactly.
I made $5.05 an hour. Mm-hmm. When I got a raise, I got a 10-cent raise.
Exactly.
And then I was a busboy at a pool and yacht club.
I was a dishwasher at The Wing.
I don't know that.
It was like this co-working space for women, and because everyone there was a woman, like, no offense to women, but like no one really yelled at me because no one wanted to be confrontational. So I would just blast music, and they'd be like, "You're not allowed to listen to music," and I'd be like, "I'm gonna," and they'd be like, "Okay, queen, like, slay, do it, no problem." But yeah, I don't trust anyone who's never had a restaurant job, and you can like tell when a friend has not, especially when you're at a restaurant, they're asking to split bills based on what you got. You always split a bill evenly.
100% agree.
This bullshit of like being like, I got the chicken and you got the burger, it's $2. It's not different. If you are eating with friends, you are paying for the pleasure of their company.
How about the birthday boy?
The person who is being celebrated doesn't pay a cent. Everyone else splits evenly.
She cooked.
I just think you shouldn't have equal rights. If you haven't worked in a service industry job, like if you've never cried in a walk-in freezer, I don't think you should be able to vote.
I've jerked off in one.
Oh, so have I!
High five.
Okay, so right off the bat.
Okay, hey, that last part was funny, but I don't know. That's the bit?
Yeah, I mean, people, mandatory service industry service, which has been, I think it's been like a common talking point my whole life. Like, everyone should work in the service industry at least a little bit. Okay, so let's watch the accusation video here now.
Okay, sure.
Let's do that.
I agree with what she said, though.
Yeah, it was pretty standard stuff. I mean, it's pretty populist. It's like, you know, it's hard to hate that take.
It's been done before. We've seen it. Yeah.
That's what it feels like. Even though I can't think of a certain comic saying it, but like you could picture just like some bit about how everyone should be nicer to their waiters. It's like, oh yeah, what
it's
a hot take.
No, it's like a modality. It's like a certain, because look at how it progressed. It went like, okay, where did they start with? They started with these regulations, like this little package of regulations or whatever to like bring, you know, the youth up and whatever, train them, whatever, you know, which I agree with some of that, not all of it, you know, but, and then it moved on to service workers, So it kind of moved to some different things, moved to service workers, and then some of the things that they face.
Let's see if these jokes were really hers.
So what's your take?
The United States should bring back the conscription, but for restaurant jobs.
100% agree.
We reinstate the draft.
This is a good take. Such a good take. I have been saying almost exactly like this, for years on stage, and, it's gone viral a few times. The joke is even on my album that came out in 2020, so if you like this take, maybe you'll like this joke.
America would benefit from restaurant conscription. Age 18 to 21, legally, you're a server. That is what it is. It's like, oh, you want to study abroad? Too bad, you got drafted by Chili's. Get in there! You want to get back to your baby? Get these baby backs out to 10, then we'll talk. Like, I've never been to a war. I have worked a Mother's Day brunch. We lost a lot of good ones. We did. Very bloody. Mary.
The joke's even called Drafted by Chili's. It's on my album Happiness. You can check that out. It came out years ago.
So there you go. Not a
That
full
was
list.
great, man. Yeah, these two, okay, now after watching that guy and then looking back at this one, I understand this guy's upset and it's on his album and all that. But when I start to look at like how you would look at the humor in this, I feel like we'd all almost go the same way with it. A couple of things here or there. The fact that this guy did it, there's got to be another guy previous to this homeboy that did that same joke, and we don't know who that dude is, back in the 70s or the 60s or in Roman era times, where they felt the same way. They're these freaking kids. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not, because it's so apparent, I don't see this as a joke that's like so pristine that you plucked it out from the gods and no one ever decided to make a joke about, a vein on a leaf or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's hard for me to say that this bit was stolen. It feels like too much common ground. And, she made it enough of her own. I really thought she did. She didn't just copy it word for word. She had her own... She had like a whole different set of tags about working, like falling in love with your coworkers, and then like you just get all these crazy experiences.
Yeah, like adding nuances to the overall idea. Yeah, and honestly, like that's the way. If you're gonna do something, that's the way you grow away from it, is by adding the nuance, because that's the common thread. So you're hoping like maybe I can throw in some nuances based on my experiences that no one else has, and maybe that's where you're from, or you worked in a like a shitty restaurant. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
What's
scary to me about it is that maybe the accuser Kyle here knows he did this bit in front of her so many times, and to see her kind of ride that lane and then do an offshoot. And
you mean like he was banging her back in the day?
No. I mean like just doing, but they're all, when you're a comic, who sees your material. You have a log of it,
Yeah.
Because they're that petty. So I could just totally see how she's like, he's like, yeah, she saw me do that bit so many times, and like she totally just took, kind of.
Wait, how long? I don't know this girl. How long has she been around? I mean, has she been around for like 5 years?
Easily, if not longer.
Oh,
I'm not counting.
New York City comic. Yeah, I don't. You know what? Honestly, just one thing that I feel about New York City comedy is the wealth and possibility of comedy exists there to the point where I think there's just way too much to look for out there. So like when people get all upset, like if you stole a joke or something like that, I think maybe from back in the day. Okay. But okay, let me ask you this. Is there a statute of limitations? Okay, so let's look at the joke. Let's look at the joke of
the FBI just got triggered for the Zoom call. But yeah, go ahead.
Right. No. Like
Cash
you're
Patel
kidding? They're
shows
gonna
up.
look at this for like 3 seconds and be like, "We got nothing to worry. We may have something to worry about that R2D2 guy, though. He looks like he's flagrant.
Really?
Look at
me.
him.
You with the wife beater. You look like a neglecting father on this.
This is what you wear when you beat your wife. in
Just a quick note. If I were to give advice to Kyle, the accuser comic here, as someone who has quit comedy many years ago, but always thought about this, about how other people could steal your stuff eventually, if you did it enough in front of them, maybe you have to be more judicious about where and when you do your stuff. And you can't just be going to 100 open mics and expecting no one to either be heavily influenced or just start lifting. And
you're talking about the established guy.
Yeah. Well, they're both established.
Yeah, he had been around for a long time though. Like I don't think that he.
It wasn't his.
I think he's wrong only in the fact that like this was not stolen. I think this is a common thread situation with obvious.
I would agree.
Obvious depots that you could find. It's nobody. Neither comic. One was way funner than the other, but neither comic like really branched out in any kind of like no one found some amazing shit that just I didn't even think about that. You know what I mean? So it all kind of flowed along the same lines. So I don't think this was a theft, And she threw other things in there of her own too. She just didn't.
But wouldn't that piss you off though if someone like stole your initial concept and then just they added stuff to it, so it's theirs now? Like that would piss me the fuck off. So I don't know. It takes a lot.
It would depend on if it was. It would depend on if it was.
It's scary to think about.
Honestly, no. Like I have this bit that like I'm sure someone had to have done already, but if they found things that I hadn't, and it was funny, then dude, I think I would love it because I'd be like, oh man, like they found some other like, wow, I didn't even think about that fact or this fact or. You know what I mean? If they told the same joke, like joke for joke, because like I try to make mine nuanced enough that it doesn't necessarily follow like the central line. Mm-hmm. So if they did it specifically like that, then there's only so far you can take it, by the way, on the common stretch. The further you go on the common stretch, like the smaller amount of space you have. Until it finally you're just like, Jesus Christ, that entire joke you did, 20 minutes, you matched this order for order. You didn't mix up anything. Number 3 didn't come in number 1. You literally did the same fucking bit. Okay, there you go. Yeah. Sorry, you're out of the comedy world.
What's scary to me about it is, this person, the comic, the accused, went on to the popular talk show, and what that is like notarizing the bit. It's like putting it on wax. Yeah. It's like back in the day. It's whoever told it on Carson got the credit for it, and I think that's what this first comic is upset about. Like, influenced or not.
Yeah, but I mean, like, guy,
but now it's a matter of who gets to run onto the big talk show and do it first. Like, is that the game? I wouldn't want that.
Now, look. This other guy already released it. It's been out forever. He's already done plenty of things. This other person stumbled onto the same joke. I can't tell you how many comedy albums have been released that I don't know a freaking thing about. The fact that I would have jokes that were the same as theirs, it has to be. It has to be. I've got almost like 300 bits. There has to be jokes in there that other people have done. There has to be.
Comics are very territorial about their bits. So even if they see someone kind of going somewhere, even like if there's any sort of proof, an exact phrasing in a certain clause, like that is grounds for like being upset, at least personally. And then the groundwork for shit, I gotta say something. And this guy who's such a professional, I would say like it probably took him a lot to hit that threshold and say something, because that's fighting words. But he felt it. He felt the need, and I don't say he's crazy. Hard to say. I think the final decision is unsure. Can't say for certain. In this case, it is we don't know. We're staying out of it. Good luck to you both.